The Goddesses Who Remembered, Sacred Archetypes for Soul-Led Women. What if the most powerful business guide you've never met was a goddess? What if they weren't goddesses to be worshipped, but sacred versions of you waiting to be remembered? Ooh. These aren't myths, they're maps. Blueprints for women in business who are ready to stop performing and start leading from their feminine truth. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember who you've always been. Picture this. I'm at my altar, incense is burning, coffee is half drunk, candles flickering next to my laptop, part mystic, part rebel, fully done with business as usual. This is Awaken Your Biz Goddess, a podcast for wild-hearted women who never fit the mold and aren't about to start now. I'm Audrey Acton, intuitive biz coach, sacred space holder, and your guide on the pathless path. Come as you are, leave lit up. Let us begin. Today, we're exploring 4 goddess archetypes, sacred mirrors for soul-led female entrepreneurs ready to remember what power really is. Up until now, we've unraveled the lies that power is force, that struggle is sacred, that emotion is weakness. But not every woman forgot who she was. Some held the line, the goddesses, the fierce, the flowing, the shadow walking, the untamed. They didn't buy into the story of performance. They didn't agree to the roles. They didn't sacrifice themselves on the altar of palatability. They remembered, and they've been waiting for you to remember too. Here's what I need you to know. Goddesses aren't fairy tales. They're archetypes, living patterns of feminine power. Kind of cool, huh? And you've met them before. In your own mirror, in your rage, in your resistance, in your softness, in the way your body says yes before your brain catches up and tries to talk you out of it. Archetypes live in the bones, not the brain. They awaken at thresholds. They rise in grief. They speak when you stop apologizing for being you. You don't choose a goddess. She chooses you when you're ready. And when you recognize her, even faintly, you're not learning something new, you're remembering. Danu came to me in meditation, not as a thunderbolt and lightning and storm, but as a quiet ripple, I suppose you could say. And I almost missed it. And that's how these goddesses show up, like a memory, a shadow, but with a pulse. Archetypes have been teaching tools for millennia. Through myth, ritual, storytelling, all of it. They have guided us through transformations long before all of the stuff that we've got going on now. Carl Jung helped us bring them back into the forefront, naming them not as fantasies, but as psychic maps of human potential, really. But I believe that there are more than the 12 that he described. Many more. I happen to have an oracle deck where there's about 90 in there. That's a whole other story, though. There are goddesses who guide grief, though, who lead at the crossroads, who birth what's next for you, and who burn what no longer fits. And when you learn to speak their language, you begin to understand your own powerful stuff. Let's meet the goddesses. Danu, the deep source. She is river, root, and return. She doesn't force, she flows. She reminds you that surrender is not weakness, it's sovereignty. Danu whispers, you don't have to control to create. You are the source. Lilith, the sacred rebel. She is fire. She's defiance, the one who said no first. She walked away from a system that asked her to shrink, and in doing so, she reclaimed her soul. Lilith doesn't ask to be chosen. She chooses herself. Hecate, the shadow walker. She lives at the threshold where something must end so something else can begin. She won't give you a map, but she gives you a lantern to find your own way. Hecate says, you don't need clarity. You need courage. Hecate has long been a companion for me in the dark nights of my business. I mean, seriously. She doesn't hand me a path. She lights a lantern instead, while I stand at that threshold and decide where I want to go. Artemis, the untamed sovereign. She is instinct. She is belonging to herself. She doesn't need permission to be wild. She just is. And she reminds you that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your freedom. So why does this matter in business and really in your life? This isn't just poetic, it's practical, because you're not building a brand from a template, fill in the blanks and whatnot. You're building it from you, from your very being. And that being, she has rhythms and depths and seasons and cycles, and she moves between wildness and stillness, and that's sacred. And it's a strategy that's based in that sacred self. When you disconnect from her, you overwork, you overthink, you perform instead of embody. But when you meet the goddess inside of you, you reclaim your cycle. You create from coherence and not comparison. You remember that worth isn't earned, it's embodied. One of my clients realized that every time she pushed past her softness, she stopped trusting herself. And when she finally surrendered to that Artemis energy, everything changed. Her timing, her message, her business, her confidence in herself, and her knowing in what she was doing from now on. Some goddesses live at the surface. Some sleep deep in your bones. But they're all inside of you. You don't have to pick one, which is the bonus. And you don't have to perform for her. Just listen. Let the one who's whispering rise. Because that whisper, it's yours. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering someone sacred. The version of you who was really never lost, only waiting to be found, to be recognized, to be embraced once more. And for today's spellette, I remember who I am. I rise in my rhythm. I trust the goddess within. If this stirred something in your bones, subscribe to Awaken Your Biz Goddess, the podcast, and join me in the remembering. We're not done. In the next episodes, we'll be exploring more goddesses, more mirrors, more of you. Want to know where you are in your journey and what your next aligned steps are? The Goddess Growth Map isn't about choosing a goddess, although you can. It's really about meeting yourself on that pathless path back to your own sacred rhythm. Come back to the mystery. Lead from your power. Live like the goddess you are.